Welcome back. I'm Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet. Every once in a while, I've been really busy with my job. I am a man in high demand, but I wanted to stop in and just give you a few highlights, a few things I've been thinking about, because I keep a close eye on this stuff, even though I don't really make many videos as of late. So, if you've been watching the crypto world, some big stories have happened. So we had Bitcoin at 16.5 at the start of the year. We thought it was over. It was going to 10K. We're doomed. Now, not to say that's still not a possibility, but we were due for a bear market rally, which is exactly what we got. A nice pump all the way to 25,200, 300, something like that. Then we cruised around 24 for a while, a healthy retrace back to 23.5. This has YouTubers flip-flopping every day from the bull market's back on to we're fucked. And guys, it's the same that it's always been. It's the same macro story, the same macro problems. Inflation is still out of control. The yield curve is still more inverted than it's ever been in my lifetime. The World War III is still on and getting worse. COVID's gone, though. That's a plus. But now we have new problems that the United States, I would argue, is creating. So we have the Chinese spy balloon that we shot down, and China's going, what the fuck, dude? Like, why would you shoot that down? And we're like, because you're spying on us. And China's going, you have 20 balloons over our place at all times, and you've surrounded us with military bases. We let that shit slide. We send a balloon over, you shoot it down? Yeah. So we're the dick here. So then that wasn't enough to convince the American public. So then they shot down 3 more mysterious objects. Now, I'm a bit of a UFO guy, and I know that you don't just shoot down 4 alien spacecraft in a week. That's not how it works. The alien spacecraft that we've been seeing lately have total control of gravity around them. So if you were to shoot at one, even if it was sitting perfectly still, the bullet would stop and drop or go immediately around the ship. That's how they're able to go through the water and straight up in insane directions with no stress of internal G-force. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Watch Bob Lazar if you want. He explains it pretty well. But that's the kind of craft we're seeing. You don't just shoot that shit down. It's far superior to anything we have. They're not aliens, is what I'm saying. None of this shit is aliens. But the U.S. wants to scare you into sending more tax money to military budgets. Because we're kind of running out. And we do want to develop a space force, which is cool. Now, that sounds like it's to fight aliens. It's not. It's to protect satellites, the electrical grid, because if you shoot a couple of choice satellites, the phones don't work, and the internet doesn't work, and no one can communicate other than through like ham radios and shit. So we do have to protect our like immediate space, okay? And if the U.S. has satellites and bases all over the world, we're going to need more money to protect that giant Roman Empire that we have spread too thin. Now, this thing with Russia is not looking good from us. We're looking more and more like the bad guys. Russia's not stupid. And so they're going, hey, so that pipeline you blew up, the United States, we kind of needed that, and you blamed us for it, but we know it wasn't us. And so the UN and NATO, they sent the Swedes down there to look at the Nord Stream 2 pipeline after it was blown up, because the US said it was Russia, right, with no evidence. And so the Swedes send some handsome blonde divers down there, and they go, yeah, it was definitely the U.S. Okay. And they swam back to the surface. And they're like, hey, boss. It was the Americans. Shh. We know. We got the email. But you're not going to say anything because they're the ones paying for all this shit. You understand? Oh, yeah, you want to go skiing, don't you, Sven, with your new Porsche? Yeah, well, then you're not going to say anything, are you? And so the Swedes didn't. They did a full investigation of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline explosion and then didn't tell anyone the results. They kept it a secret. And that was cool with the U.S. We're like, problem solved then, guys, right? Everybody's fine. And then NATO look the other way as well because they know that the U.S. is paying for all of this. And Russia's going, what the fuck, are you sure that was it? That was mine. That was my main bargaining chip. I needed that Nord Stream pipeline to send cheap energy to Germany, and that's what was keeping the peace for so long. But you knew if Germany could get cheap energy and was reliant on that energy from Russia, if you blow that pipeline up, then there's no excuse not to go to war with us. And so you railroaded everybody in Europe to fight Russia in an infinite war. And so the U.S. is like, nah, you're a liar, dude. You're full of shit, bro. No one look into that, please. And so that's our position. It's so obviously bogus. And so Russia's going like, look, man, you can't get away with this anymore. I demand a proper investigation, and then I want those findings to be revealed to the world. And China's backing Russia on this. So why do we want to have a war with Putin? It's not over Ukraine. We don't care about Ukraine. We never did. We never, ever did care about anybody in Ukraine. We're using this as an excuse to destroy Putin. Now, why would we do that? Putin is the main figure in the way of globalism. So China is part of the globalism thing. But China's also, they're playing both sides. China's the smart guy in this whole thing. So if China joins Russia, the U.S. cannot defeat them. They're too big. If Germany joins Russia, we can't defeat them. They're too big. Germany's got incredible technology, but Russia has an astonishing amount of natural resources. So if you took Germany's tech and Russia's resources and combined it, they would beat the United States. So we have to sever that pipeline. Don't let that ever happen. China has incredible resources and a giant population, and Russia has resources. If those two joined forces, the U.S. is doomed. So we have to keep a wedge between China and Russia to a certain extent, okay? And now that China's kind of been on the sidelines watching this whole thing, they go, we know the U.S. blew that pipeline up, and we know the U.S. has bioweapons labs, and they blamed us for COVID because they were growing a virus that it's illegal to have any kind of gain of function inside the United States, so they paid a Chinese lab to do it here, and then, it was poorly managed, and it got out, whether accidentally or on purpose, we don't really know, but that was an American virus on Chinese territory, and they did that because the bats are here, but also they would have a reasonable doubt that it was from the United States, and they lied the whole way until Rand Paul unveiled all of it. So we know that the United States is like number one asshole right now, and has been for quite some time, and so China's going, we should probably have a neutral investigation of this pipeline, because this whole war effort is based on a lie. Okay. So, I just realized that I'm wearing the same shirt that Zelensky is. I don't have this goofy zipper, do I? But even now, at this point, when you show images of Zelensky and Putin, you have to make Putin seem weak, even though he's not. So this is the time when Putin's like, ooh, did I leave the garage door open? And they took a shot of him right there at that moment. And so they pieced him together with Zelensky, who is a total stooge. And as soon as we pull our money out of this, Zelensky's going to have to negotiate. Now, Zelensky, to his credit, has tried a peace deal about 3 times that I know of, and the U.S. or the U.K. has stepped on it. Okay, we do not want any peace deal with Putin because it's not about Ukraine, it's about destroying Putin. That's what this whole thing is. But at this point, it's costing us more money than we have, and a lot of innocent people are dying, which has never been a problem for the United States, but it doesn't look like we're really winning. It doesn't look like Putin's winning, but we're definitely not winning, and our whole reason for doing this is kind of turning out to be a lie, and people are coming around to it. So here's how I would negotiate this, okay? Hey, Putin. Buddy, come here. Zelensky, go play outside. Oh, okay. All right, so Putin, listen. We fucked up. I know you did. Okay, and I got a deal for you. First, there's some things I'm going to need from you, Vladimir, all right? What is it? Okay, those bioweapons labs we had, you're going to have to let that slide. What slide? Okay, and the Nord Stream pipeline, that cost you like $1 trillion to make, and you know, You're going to have to let that one go, too. You blew that up! Yeah, I know. Okay, and one more thing. You know the Nazis we've been siding with? The Azov Battalion? You're going to have to forget about all that. And all the politicians we've been trying to install there to kind of cause like a European angle to Ukraine, even though that kind of broke the agreement we had at the fall of the Soviet Union. All of this I have to let slide? Yes, because if you do, hey buddy, you get to keep all this shit right here. These 4 regions that you kind of, we said that you took it by force, but really all these people were ethnic Russians and they wanted to become a part of Russia. Now, you already had Crimea, remember 2014? Yeah, so you get to keep all of this, all right, and then we're going to leave and we're going to stop fighting. But why would I let you off the hook, is what he's going to say. And you go, well, you know, you could show your Russian people that, hey, look at all this land I got, guys. You don't have to be mad at me anymore. I got us something. I got all these new Russians to join us. We got some new land and resources. We got this great trade route here dialed in. Okay, it was worthwhile. You don't have to be mad at me anymore. Sure, they did blow up our pipeline, but we can make another one, especially because of all this money we just got from here. And the U.S. said it's cool. We're going to back off. There's no problems. Plus, and he's like, okay, maybe. Like, and also, hey, Zelensky's a joke. Yes, he is. Oh, we're sorry about that. But wasn't this fun though? We had our Cold War for a while. We don't want a full-on hot war. That's a hard sell. But we could do a proxy war. We already kind of were doing that against each other in the Middle East. But this was close and it was fun. Wasn't that cool? We got to use all of our fun toys and stuff, and we laundered a ton of money. And then we put sanctions on you, which really just hurt all of our allies. Yes, you know, gas is still very cheap here. And I go, yeah, also, I really need to end this war thing because the price of eggs is out of control. How much you pay for eggs? Jeez, I just put like $11 at Safeway. $11? Yeah, how much are eggs for you, Vladimir? 8 American pennies apiece. We buy 10, so 10 eggs, $1, 80 cents. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, everything we don't have here, we just get from China. Great deal. Ah. So all those sanctions we did, that didn't hurt you at all? Not really. I did have some billionaires fall out of some windows, but other than that, everything was fine. All right. So that's what you do. You stop this shit. He runs away, tail between his legs. We need to stop fighting along Nazis, okay? Stop killing innocent Ukrainians because we don't even care about them. We're trying to stop Putin because he's in the way of the globalist agenda. It has nothing to do with Ukraine, okay? So we fucked up. We spent $200 billion plus, really twisted up all the world order here for no reason. You give them these shitty places, okay? This is the poorest nation in Europe, by the way. No one cares about Ukraine. These people want to be in Russia. If you want, you have the UN oversee a proper election, and then they cast their votes on who they want to go with. Knowing that the war's over, and it's peacetime now, hey, do you want to stay in Ukraine, or do you want to join Russia? Give them the option, make it official. We will officially recognize any results. And then Putin gets to go home happy, he got something, and then we get egg prices back to cheap, and we can go back to farming and shit, like get some... What were we getting from there? Wheat and fertilizer. We really need that stuff. The whole world does. The currencies can go back to normal. Guys, please. The BRICS nation shit is really fucking us here in the U.S. If we back off, can you just go back to using the dollar, please? We kind of need that stability. Then you have a bargaining chip. You got to give them something. But the way we're approaching it is like, no, Putin dies and gets nothing. Well, that's not how you bargain. If the goal is peace, you got to make some concessions, reasonable concessions. And Putin's not asking for more than that. Now, Zelensky, knowing he has infinite money and nukes coming his way, and planes and whatever else he wants, all he has to do is dress as woman and play piano, and we send him infinite money that we don't have. That shit has to stop. As soon as we turn the money faucet off, he's gonna be a little lamb suddenly, okay? And then all this shit stops. Mr. Tough Guy showing up to Congress in a t-shirt? Get the fuck out of here. All right? We gave you $200 billion. Put a suit on for once. Hey, you look nice for the Grammys, okay? You don't have to be doing this anymore. Now, the only reason why he's playing tough guy is because he has our money. You turn that money off, the tough guy thing stops. We work out a peace deal. It's over in 3 days. That's the way it should be, okay? The U.S. is unjustified in our position there. Now, enough about that. Now, why does this matter? Because it affects the markets, man. Big time. I need this stuff to stop so I can make some fucking money again. Now, I still am, okay? I'm always making money. You know how it is. I always got an angle. But everybody else should be making money easier. Look at how red this is. Now, I've been shorting a lot of stuff and doing fine. But, I mean, there's no reason for this struggle, okay? The people at the top who are selling the weapons and screwing people and acquiring all the land and all the farms and getting rid of them, and you have the train wrecks and all this crap. So the infrastructure here is collapsing while the top 1% of the top 1% are laughing all the way to the bank. I don't like it. And then Gary Gensler, this scumbag, goes after Kraken. Kraken Exchange is like the only one that follows the rules from day one. They're the coolest one. And Gary goes after him. He says, comply with the rules or you have to end staking. And Jesse Powell from Kraken's like, we've been following the rules the whole time. Is there some new rule? Like, send it to me. Like, I'll follow it. And Gensler's like, nope. And he turns off the staking options at Kraken. So certain things like Kava and Kusama took an absolute dump ever since that, because their main value was being able to stake at Kraken. Now, they're legitimate projects, but the main interest from the public in these companies is because you make a really nice return staking at Kraken. And so now you can't anymore. And because he was able to shut off the little guy, Kraken, Gary's going, well, hey, they didn't follow the rules, so everybody else is in big trouble. If you have a staking program in the United States, I'm going to come after you. But it was based on no grounds. There's no legal premise for him doing any of this. And so we really got to get rid of this guy. He's like, I don't know what this is, but it's got to stop. Janet Yellen's useless, the mushroom lady. Like, inflation's still way too high. It was at 6.5% or something, and it actually ran hot last reading. What the hell? What was it here? 6.5 or so. The next we're gonna get is middle of March, and then the next meeting is on the 22nd. Is the next time they're gonna hit us with a rate hike. So we got a 1/4 point last time. They're probably going to hit us with 1/2 point now. And that's what scared the markets all over again, you guys. And that's what made the DXY go up, was right here. Was seeing that inflation report was too hot, and then knowing that Jerome Powell is going to have to blast off on the rates again. And that's what made this go up and everything else go down. It's the same story every time. We're still in bad shape. The bull market is not back on. Don't be an idiot. The problems are still here. So, what are you going to do with Bitcoin? Should you buy? Should you sell? Should you wait? Go to work, okay? Don't live beyond your means. Same advice as before. Now, I bought a bunch down here. No, I didn't know if we were going to 10K. Remember, we were charting all this. Everybody said rule of threes. We're going to 10. Gareth Soloway still thinks we're going to 12, and that's legitimate. Now, I would say we are most likely at some point going to fall to 20. Okay? Now, I don't think we're ever going to go below this fall of FTX thing, this 15.5. That was a black swan event. We would need another black swan, like nukes start being launched or something real bad. The argument is that because the way the volume goes, we have the 200 weekly coming in here, we're kind of running into a lot of stuff right in this spot. There's a ton of volume at like 25, 26, and it's hard to break through that. And so we're right up against that wall, and it's hard to surpass it. But once you do, when you get to like 25.8, it's clear sailing all the way up to 30,000. So like, let's go to like the weekly or something. Here we go. There's a ton of volume right in this area, and so it's a thick wall of support or resistance, depending on where you are, okay? So right now, we're right in this resistance wall. If you pass it, this was a hard drop, so that means there's not much volume to resist you. You blast right to 30K. So the argument is, do we get to 30K first or 20K first? And I don't know. That's going to be based on how news plays out over the next couple of days. So just know that big moves are coming up or down, and you can either short or long, and if you choose right, you make good money. So I've been shorting stuff and longing stuff at just the right times. I don't do leverage, maybe a little bit, but I'm doing okay. So like I'm working 50, 60-hour weeks, and then I come home and I see a move that I kind of like because I have Market Cipher up. Okay, still the best indicator in the world. I have Market Cipher going, and I go, all right, I think this is going to happen. And I do a little move, and I'm correct more than I'm wrong. Now, if you've watched these videos, I'm wrong like 40% of the time. But like, I feel like that's just how this game goes. It's difficult, and that's why I love it. Bottom line is, all the problems we had are still here, other than COVID. And then we have new problems that are being largely manufactured by the United States. And we got to get rid of this administration. And, you know, there's a ticking time bomb on it. They're going to be out of here in, let's see, 2025, which is, coincidentally, when the bull market's supposed to come back. You got the halving with Bitcoin. A lot of stuff lines up with 2025. Elon Musk agrees with me. You know, I think 2025 is the bull run. Right now, it's going to be ugly for a while. It kind of has to be, because we have to correct this hyperinflation that we caused. So it's just going to be ugly. Hopefully, things don't escalate too far. They stay far away in terms of World War type stuff. They stay far away. They stay in Ukraine, which doesn't affect us too much. And now that sounds very selfish. We kind of need it to be that way. We need to calm down. But Biden and the boys and the warmongers, they don't want peace. And it's frustrating to me because it's costing me money and it's people are dying for no reason. But anyways, it's going to be a great week. Go to work. Keep your mouth shut. It's not aliens. We're fine. You'll know it if it's aliens. Everything's fine. I gave you the overall. Look for 20K or 30K. One of those numbers is coming here probably within the next month. Okay? Have fun out there.